Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at whether you can really bust a gut from eating too much at once. Although extremely rare, some people actually have ruptured their stomachs after eating too much, and perhaps not surprisingly, many did not survive. When a stomach ruptures, the billions of bacteria that normally live inside the gut flow out into the abdominal cavity where they thrive. The infection that ensues causes acute abdominal pain, a tensing of the belly muscles, fever, nausea, bloating, and vomiting. Without treatment with antibiotics, cleaning of the cavity, and repair of the stomach, the person will die. So why wouldn't the person just vomit if things got too uncomfortable? As Dr. Rachel Vreeman explains, the individuals often have unusual eating habits to an extent that their body's reflexes no longer respond as they normally do. Their body's reflexes have been ignored or abused for so long that they no longer vomit at the appropriate time. And then, once the stomach gets to that extremely distended point, the stomach muscles are too stretched out to be strong enough to vomit the food out. In one early case in 1941, a 51-year-old woman blew out her belly with a sodium bicarbonate, think Alka-Seltzer, after cocktails and a heavy dinner. That meal included meatballs, tomatoes, cheese, bread, potatoes, macaroni, pie, and whiskey. At least one commentator noted that gas from the fizz apparently stretched the stomach to its breaking point. A similar thing happened to a 71-year-old woman in 1955. In 1963, a 40-year-old New York woman who had lost 16 pounds in the 2 months prior to bursting by strictly following a 1,000-calorie per day diet suddenly became ill after eating a corned beef sandwich. The small meal caused her to experience severe nausea, but she was unable to vomit, and she began feeling a sense of impending doom. Overnight she got worse, and by the next morning she was not in her right mind and in severe belly pain. She was admitted to Mount Sinai Hospital, but initial x-rays did not show a rupture, so she was treated for over a week with intravenous fluids and suctioning of her stomach. After 11 days, her condition had worsened, and they finally opened her up and discovered a long rip that appeared to have been there for quite a while. The operation was a success, and within a month, she was discharged. Seeming to afflict women more than men, in 1985, The Lancet reported the death of a 23-year-old fashion model from a ruptured stomach. During her last meal, which they were able to catalogue during the autopsy, the young woman ate a half-pound steak, 1 pound of liver, 2 pounds of kidney, 2 eggs, 1 cauliflower, 10 peaches, 4 pears, 4 bananas, 2 apples, 2 glasses of milk, 2 slices of bread, and 2 pounds each of grapes, plums, and carrots. It should also come as no surprise that bursting stomachs appears to be more common among bulimia sufferers. The Weekly World News reported in 1994 that an autopsy revealed that a 19-year-old model, Anne-Mary Bulls, in a 4 to 5 hour period, gorged on 20 pounds of food that consisted of an entire fried chicken, a dozen chicken wings, appetizers, fruit cocktails, 2 pints of beer, 2 large roast beefs, 3 baked potatoes, a head of cauliflower with cheese sauce, a loaf of garlic bread, 8 cookies, and a gallon of ice cream before her stomach ruptured. Prior to her binge, the 5'9", 110-pound model had kept her figure trim by eating only fruits and vegetables, but during her last meal she is said to have inhaled the food so quickly she apparently swallowed much of it without even chewing. Her rupture was sufficiently severe that she died from internal hemorrhaging within about the next 20 minutes. One of the reasons bulimics are more prone to rupture is that shriveled stomachs are more susceptible to tearing. In fact, at least 4 former POWs after World War II ruptured their bellies after eating relatively modest meals. One of these ingested over an entire day only a quart of coffee, a few potatoes, a half pound of bread, and 2 quarts of soup. On that note, not all ruptures are caused by overeating, at least not directly. In 2011, a 25-year-old woman from Coventry who had a gastric band, the band is placed around the stomach and tightened to aid with weight loss, nearly died when the band slipped, causing a wound that turned septic. For the first couple of months, she suffered from heartburn, vomiting, and difficulty swallowing, but eventually the pain became unbearable. At the hospital, her surgeons described her burst belly as like a jigsaw, but she received a transplant and survived. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do give us a like below, and don't forget to subscribe for brand new videos every day of the week. Also, over there on the right are a couple of other videos that we've put together that you might enjoy. I know if you're on a mobile device you can't click on those videos, so there will be links in the description below, and thank you for watching.